Alright, Chapter 7, Inland Petroleum Distribution System, Section 1, System Component for the description. The Inland Petroleum Distribution System, lightweight, rapidly deployed pipeline with terminal system, either the underdeveloped theater for the interface with the existing fuel shell for the refinery for the Navy, the offshore petroleum distribution system. Engineers install the aluminum pipe with the pump stations, engineer pipeline construction support with the company install the 3 to 5 miles of aluminum pipe within 24 hours with the quartermaster pipeline terminal operating unit for the operate with the maintain with the pipeline pump stations once they are installed. Inland petroleum distribution system can start with the beach interface unit with the run as far with the inland as practical. It can also start with the tactical petroleum terminal with the commercial facility with the tactical petroleum terminal as discussed the detailed chapter 6 aluminum pipe with the package ISO shipping container with the 5 mile 70. It takes 13 ISO containers to transport 5 miles of pipe, which are all related to valves. The fitting of the pump station interval depending on the system hydraulics of the more non-interval level ground is 15 miles with the pipeline hydraulic is probably difficult to discuss. In Appendix C, the detail of the information provided with the Field Manual 542 for the system modular design can be tailored for any locality. Operation basic components of the pipeline pump stations assembly. The 5 mile pipeline set for all components for the main run of the pipeline, 5 miles set for each set for the containment of the material required for the complete 5 mile. There are 1,404 sections of the 19-foot inland petroleum distribution system, single groove aluminum pipe with coupling clamps and gasket. Pipe package 20 foot with the ISO container with I have 156 sections of pipe in each of the 9 containers. Allotment of the elbow coupling clamp with the differential directional challenges, expansion contraction devices, as well as gate valves, vent valves, the pipeline anchor, culvert overcoupling, repair clamps. Package 4 additional container with the individual components of the 5 mile pipeline set that discussed in the following paragraphs. 19-foot aluminum pipe section with a 1,404 section for the 19-foot long package with the number 9 20-foot ISO containers. Containers have the 156 shown figure 7.1, 7.2. Pipeline section with the main run of the pipeline. They can be cut different lengths due to the vary wall thickness for the each end of the may be grooved instead of the damage. And it shows the 19-foot aluminum pipe sections. 9-foot aluminum pipe nipple. There are 44 9.5 foot long pipe section for the nipple for each 5 mile set. 10 section for each of the pump set for the pipe section for anywhere with the pipeline odd length for the section is needed. They have the constant wall thickness that can be cut to any length with a regroove for the cutting and the groove of the beveling machine. Each 9.5 foot section has backline down length for the E for the indication of the nipple material. 9.5 foot aluminum pipe nipples. Special groove that design wider standard commercial for the U over the most of the pipe through the world and interchange with the standard groove of the inland petroleum distribution system. Single grooves are outphase of the high pressure pipeline pump station. Maximal operating pressure 740 psi. High pressure coupling clamp. The clamps have the integral gasket that makes the pipe connection relatively easy. The coupling clamp with the set of the 295 clamps of the box, pack for the box with the 25 clamps, hammer with the extra gasket, extra retaining pin, drift pin with the 2 assembly tools with the gasket, more lubricating assembly, gate valve assembly. You have the isolation block with the pipeline about 1 mile interval with the gate valve with their skid mount with a 6-inch ANSI class 300 steel valve. Inland petroleum distribution single groove ends with the gate valves are operated either fully open or fully closed with the 5 gates each 5 mile set. Check valve assembly, even the name of the bottom of the major grave with the chain with the pipeline to prevent the backflow of the fuel with the skid mount with the 6-inch ANSI class 300 steel valve. Hinge disc allows the fuel flow with only one direction. The fuel flowing with the right direction. Push of the hinge disc out of the way. Fuel flowing with the return direction. Push of the disc against the seat with the closing of the opening and air of the valve that indicate with the direction of the flow must flow. To open the valve, the check valve with the self-operating require little maintenance with the 3 check valve with the area in each 5 mile. Pipeline vent assembly. Pipeline vent assembly are made with a 1-foot section with a 6-inch steel pipe with a groove within both ends for the receiver of the inland petroleum distribution system. Single groove coupling groove clamp. Figure 7.3, the short section with a Weldo-let coupling of the 3/4 inch ball without fitting the nipple of the vent assembly installed with the determinant of the pipeline designer at the high points of the vent air with the system. By changing their position, they can be either the drain and low points if necessary with the 5 set of these in each 5 mile set. End view and then the side view of the pipeline vent assembly. Pipeline drain assembly with the 2-inch ball valves. Plugs in each side of the cylinder to the vent assembly, however, the design to be placed in the area of the pipeline and aid of the fuel recovery of the line must be drying. Elbows and T's. Inland petroleum comes from the elbow and T directional chain of the pipeline. Each 5 mile has the elbows to determine the expansion contraction. There are 62, 90 degree, 5, 59, 49 degrees, and 10, 22, and 0.5 degree, and 10, 1, 11 and a quarter degree, and 12, 6 degree elbows. The flexibility laying pipe. There are 2 sides of 90 degree elbows in the system. There are elbows set within the UV pipeline. The short elbows only found in pump station must not be UV on the pipeline. 6-inch 90-degree elbow, the 6-inch T. The pipe anchor with the movement over the cover of the thermal expansion. You will use the direction provided with the least resistance anchors. Use to direct the movement of the expansion device. Anchors should be located midpoints between the expansion device. 48 anchors with clamps and 5 mile per set. And this shows your pipeline anchors. Elevated critical gap crossing. Elevated critical gap crossing materials designed to allow the inland patrol and distribution system to cross up to 250 feet over the water or gully. Adequate pipeline expansion system must be provided with the compensate with the longitudinal thermal expansion for the pipeline with the crossing pipeline anchors are required to isolate with a critical gap crossing expansion system for the main pipe with a 2-foot minimum clearance above the high water level to permit floating debris to pass under the pipeline. Existing bridges that may be with the gas crossing the bridge attached system the non-practical left field and the line is routed over the direct bridge deck using tunnel patches set with the closer crossing material of the pipeline support assembly. Or nestable steel covers. Nestable steel covers with existing culverts not available. The bridge cannot be used for roadway crossing. These culverts are easily constructed by two people. These will the only switch assembly for the bending of the bar with the 80 linear feet with a nest culvert with each of the pipeline set with the construction road crossing. Cutting groove in the beveling machine with a portable pipe cutting groove in the beveling machine with the end of the preparation inland petroleum distribution pipe and component of the machine with the bevel the inland petroleum distribution system aluminum pipe in preparation for the butt welding. Also can groove the pipe to accept with a coupling clamp with the gasket of the machine. Consists of split frame with an external chucking system that simultaneously signed with the square of the maximum machining of the pipe. It can be powered by pneumatic, electrical, hydraulic driver motors. Cutting groove in the beveling machine. Show the hydraulic driver the head of the installing pipe with an anchor with a consistent hydraulic drive head, which can be mounted in J4410 back over the same placement with an excavated degree stick with a removing the bucket. Anchor adapted the anchor with a 1/2 inch square forged steel shaft, 60 inches long and 6-inch diameter taped hexel welded on bottom. Water pressure is applied with the anchor turned clockwise. If the auger itself into the ground, the clamp installed with around the pipeline passed into the anchor shaft with the anchoring of the pipe to the ground. Tamping machine with the machine with the hot tamping with the tamping of the pressurized pipeline. Install the serve of the tap of the pressure relief device with the device can be installed without stopping the flow of the fuel of the pipeline. Machine can use the hole saw with the holder pilot to the cut. The holder pilot holds the cut pilot for the long after the cutting saw can be removed. The machine cannot adjust the automatic feed rate with the aim of the current condition. Cutting condition comes with a ratchet crank of the manual operation. Pump station. Each of the pump station with a 2-skid mount with a diesel engine driving mainline pump with the 800 gallon per minute launcher and receiver assembly drain dual line trainer assembly flood set light. Components of the pump station except for the main pump lines. Pump station equipment will be stored in 20-foot ISO containers. Alright, an 800-gallon mainline pump. The 800 gallon per minute mainline pump with a horizontal split cave for 3 shades, central figure skid mounting unit with the shown figure 7 at the top of the drill with the turbocharged diesel engine with the pump contained with the content discharge curve, clutch allowed with the pipe engine with the run through the turning of the pump with the automatic pump control with the 2 modes with the operation manual engine speed control with the discharge pressure for the manual engine speed control set, engine speed RPMs. Regardless of the discharge pressure, controls regulated for the engine speed with the corresponding with the discharge pressure for the set by the operating condition with a high coolant temperature, low oil pressure, low pump with the suction pressure engine overspeed will allow the safety shutdown of the device to override either control mode. Instrument panel with a tachometer, voltmeter, loop, oil pressure gauge, a coolant and temperature gauge, and then suction discharge pressure gauge. Pump head is discharge head of the 1,800 feet is rated at 3,450 RPM with the engine of the 855 cubic inch 6-cylinder rated. 450 horsepower at 2,100 RPM. The entire assembly is 218 inches long, 79.5 inches wide, 132 inches in height, and weighs about 14,230 pounds. Shows the 800 gallon per minute mainline pump assembly ground point with the control panel speed and creep with the behind panel, engine behind panel, and skid assembly. Alright, your spacer launch assembly. The launcher assembly with the launch of the pipeline scrap of the extensive the steel skid launcher barrel with the related piping valve with the figure 7 and 8 with all the components launcher assembly and steel with the launching barrel with a quick opening closure pressure gauge with the drain valve with the vent valve located with the bypass valve under with the 1 inch of the thermal relief valve Initial set relief pressure for the 740 psi set pressure could be adjusted necessary depending on the location of the system relief valve. Discharge is tied with the discharge line from the vent valve of the launching barrel. 2-inch diameter, 20-foot long, with a hose line is connected to the vent drain with the disposal of the fuel of the barrel is being emptied with the scraper capacity signal that provided on the downstream of the part with the assembly with the scraper. Launcher assembly is supplied with a pump station R on the outlet side of the pump station. Through the bypass valve of the scraper passage indicated the mainline valve of the launcher barrel with a side valve with a quick open closure in the direction. Scraper receiver assembly, skid mount scraper receiver assembly consists of the receiver valve with the related piping of the shown figure 7-9, all component with the receiver assembly steel. Receiver assembly has the quick open closure pressure gauge of the drain valve, the vent valve. Set pressure for the 990 psi of the set pressure is adjusted necessary depending on the location of the system scraper signal located within the entrance of the receiver of the barrel. So the side valve, quick open and closure, receiving the barrel with the scraper, Indian passenger indicator, mainline valve with the bypass, and the entrance. Scraper assembly, strainer assembly installed with the pump station upstream of the pump protect with the damage free with the debris within the pipeline. Skid mount steel strainer assembly with the two separate inline vertical strainer with the figure 7-9 and page 7-10 strainers, quick open and closure to allow with the easy access for the strainer basket. Each strainer basket different potential gauge, the 2-ball valve with a 1-inch ball valve with the drainer strainer with the underneath the 1.5-inch ball valve with the pressure venting. The assembly has 4 6-inch gate valve with each of either strainer has bypass with the cleaning with the interrupting fuel flow with a 1-inch drain hose supplied with the strainer assembly. Shows the strainer and strainer assembly. Flood set light with the flood set are components of the pump station flood set that are discussed in Chapter 6. The 3,000-gallon collapsible fabric tank with 3,000-gallon fabric tank with installed with each of the pump stations supplied with the station fuel with the tank to be filled with connected to the pipeline. Other tanker truck with the same hose with the needs of the new receive fuel into the tank with the dispenser with the 110-gallon tank with the pumps. For detailed information, 3,000-gallon collapsible fabric tank, refer to Chapter 22. Tactical Petroleum Terminal. Stern Tactical Petroleum Terminal has a capacity of 3,700,000 gallons and 5,000 barrels. Collapsible 5,000 barrel collapsible fabric tank. The Tactical Petroleum Terminal module with 3 identical fuel units. Each Tactical Petroleum Terminal also has a 1 pipeline connection with the total Tactical Petroleum Terminal. 77 ICO container. For the detailed information, Tactical Petroleum Terminal, refer to Chapter 6, Section 2, Installation. Testing.